Alright, another day of NBA action in the books. Today, first we have the Magic beating the Celtics. I missed the first half of this because I was actually at Wolverine, and it's really not that good, by the way. But I watched the second half. I got the important part here. You know, watching this game, watching this series so far, my impression is that, honestly, Orlando is a better team than the Celtics, and I don't think it's that close. With the Celtics, you know, in the state that they are not as good as the Magic in the state that they are. That's what I got from watching this game in Game 1. In Game 2, of course, Boston was better, but that game was mainly because Eddie House had the game of his life, you know? And so I know Boston's the defending champs. They have a lot of players that are considered clutch, and they have more well-known players to some degree, but I definitely feel that Orlando should win this series, and if they don't, I will consider it a choke, because based off what I saw so far in this series, they're a better team that should expect to win this series, absolutely. You know, Dwight Howard did what he does. Again, he's not going to explode for 40 points. That's not his game yet. He doesn't have the offensive capabilities. 17 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks, good defense in the paint. When he wasn't blocking shots, he was contesting them, forcing them to miss on occasion. So he did his thing. Lewis was big. I mean, he played like a player that deserved to get paid the max money, which is something he very rarely does, because he is well overpaid. Obviously, we know this. He is nowhere near worth $20 million a year, but played like it today, so we'll forgive him. Hito is healthy, 24 points today, hit his jumpers, hit some threes. Really, the Magic did a pretty good job today at hitting threes. Anthony Johnson came off the bench for the suspended Alston. He played okay. You know, they don't need that much from him. They just need him to handle the ball and not turn it over so much. So I got nothing bad to say about him. Courtney Lee came off the bench, played pretty well, 11 minutes. You know, he's going to come back from that sinus injury, so he's not going to be perfect for a while, but he made an impact here. Michael Petrus did as well. Marcin Gortat came off the bench when Howard was in foul trouble and contributed a bit. And I'm wondering what's going to happen to J.J. Redick when Lee is 100%, because Lee should start over Redick, but how many minutes will Redick get? Because when he catches fire from 3, watch out. Today he wasn't really good, but he can be. For Boston, you know, they stayed in the game late because Paul Pierce kept driving to the hole and, you know, hitting some shots. He got to the free throw line a lot and was making his free throws. So he actually looked pretty good in this game. He wasn't really hitting his jumpers through some points. There were points where he was just missing all his shots, and he changed that by going to the hoop, getting fouled, getting to the line. So you like to see that from him. I don't think he's 100%. I do think he's still exhausted, but at least they got something. Ray Allen was useless again. Rondo wasn't nearly as good as he has been. Glenn Davis just couldn't handle it. All these people got into foul trouble. Scalabrine, Perkins, and Davis all got into foul trouble close to the end of the game, and they were out of big men. They had to play Mickey Moore, and they're actually starting to like Scalabrine more than Mickey Moore. I don't know, I don't think highly of either player, don't get me wrong, but they have moved towards Scalabrine more than Mickey Moore, and they only put Mickey Moore in seemingly when they're completely desperate, so they had to turn to him because of all the foul trouble that their other bigs got into. You know, Eddie House had a great game, 15 points. He was making everything he was shooting for a while. He cooled off a little bit later on after the game got out of hand, but he is on fire right now, so you got to ride him, because the Boston now has a legitimate 6th man, and they've been struggling with that all year for the most part, ever since, you know, Garnett and Poe went out. And if Eddie House can knock down his jumpers, that's a legitimate 6th man. But, you know, it's the same story here. They got nothing from Ray Allen. Glenn Davis wasn't good. You know, the backcourt needs to step up. Rondo and Allen, they depend so much on these guys. Because, you know, a game like tonight where Pierce did play his heart out is just going to exhaust Paul Pierce even more. So it's got to happen. Other game just finished. Lakers beat the Rockets. I watched most of it. I liked what I saw. I've always felt that when the Lakers are on, when they're going on all cylinders, they should be getting 70 total points from their three best guys. They should be getting about 30 from Kobe, 20 from Gasol, and 20 from Odom. So if you're getting 70 points from those guys, you should be pretty much unbeatable. So tonight they got like 62 or 63. So that's pretty close, and that's going to win you a lot of games. So they played well. Gasol wasn't really playing that great, but he did have 13 points, 6 boards, which is really not a Pau Gasol type game, but you're going up against Yao Ming, it's going to happen. Odom was great, 16 and 13. Bryant was making his shots, 33 points. He came on when they needed him. Farmar, I got to give props to Farmar, and Farmar has been so awful all year pretty much that we will give him big props for doing anything of remote competence. And he wasn't great in this game. He played like 33, 34 minutes, and he only had 12 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. He had a block and a couple of steals. He only had 1 turnover. And those numbers aren't great, but he's contributing. That's what I wanted to see, because he doesn't have to be great. He just has to not be bad. As long as he's not doing a bunch of stupid stuff, that's all they need. And today he was good. He had 12 points. He was making his shots. He was distributing it well. And, he got the start over Shannon Brown because Fisher's suspended. And I really liked what I saw from him. Ariza was okay. They got middling contributions from a bunch of people off the bench. Walton had 6. Brown had 8. Vujacic didn't really do it for me, but he did have 1 3, so props for that, I guess. Bynum came off the bench and didn't do much, but he did have 5 boards, and I liked what I saw from his defense, watching the game, seeing him play D on Yao and whoever. So at least he's doing something. For Houston, get the ball out of Ron Artest's hands. I mean, he's like the black hole. When Houston throws the ball to Ron Artest, they're not getting it back. He's going to take a shot. And today, the 3 was not falling for him, and he shot like 9 or 10 threes in this game. I can't remember, but it wasn't working for him, and he kept trying it and kept trying it. And, he didn't play terrible or anything. He had 25 points and 6 boards, but it wasn't a good percentage, and that's kind of the story of Ron Artest. He shoots a bad percentage, so you're better off. Oh, and also on Farmar, he played some really nice defense on Aaron Brooks. Aaron Brooks, 7 points, really not a factor. So that's another thing that Farmar is proving his worth in, because Fisher can't stay with Aaron Brooks. Brooks is just too fast. And Artest got ejected at the end of the game. It didn't matter. It was a bullcrap ejection because they called a flagrant 2 on a foul on Gasol, and it wasn't even flagrant. The game was already over, and I thought the announcers were freaking out a little too much because the game was already over, but I couldn't believe that he actually got ejected for that, but it's whatever. Ming got hurt. He was having a good game, 19 points, 14 rebounds. He was doing his thing, but his history, his body, the way his body is constructed, it's bad news. So hopefully he's okay. He can play game 4 and play the rest of the series, but it did not look good. He was limping around. He was trying to play through it. It just wasn't there for him. And really, that's about it here. Landry came off the bench and had 10 points. Wafer had 9. Wafer was actually, I think, scoring a lot in the 4th. Wafer was doing everything he could off the bench in the 4th quarter, but hey, it wasn't enough today. I really liked what I saw from Los Angeles. They have home court again, and if they win tomorrow, on Sunday, I think, in Houston, that's pretty much it for this series. So that's about it. Liked what I saw. Maybe Farmar needs to continue to start. I definitely think he should start the rest of this series. Maybe you put Fisher back in when you're in later series against other point guards, but he is the best matchup for Aaron Brooks. So I really like to see that. And that's about it. I guess I'm out. So tomorrow pretty sure the Cavs are going to beat the Hawks and sweep the series, and I'm going to take Dallas over the Denver Nuggets. So we'll talk about that later. See ya.